Obvious the message, I'm the most qualified person to be the next governor of Louisiana. That's what an event like this is all about, an opportunity to talk to the press club that always asks good and pointed questions, but also to deliver that message to the people of Louisiana.
Look, the reality of it is that we need a leader who can, on the very first day, begin to work across party lines, work with people, someone who can work across gender lines, geographic lines, racial lines. I'm clearly have put myself in a position to be that kind of candidate, have a proven track record of that, and I think that's what Louisiana is starving for. I think Louisiana is starving for a governor who not only understands policy but understands people, and that message is beginning to resonate if folks look at those polls.
Well, my message is that the future in Louisiana is bright, but only because the people of Louisiana do a better job of electing more responsible leaders in terms of the positions that they are entrusted with, and that's certainly going to be true with the governor's office. And also, I'm not like my opponents who believe Bobby Jindal deserves a passing grade for his 8 years of stewardship of our state. I believe he's been a failure. It's a tremendous leadership failure where he's promoted self-interest over the common interest. I will break with that and put the people of Louisiana first. I've got a record of doing that in my 8 years in the legislature, of standing up and fighting against Bobby Jindal and his bad policies. Back in the first term, when it was hard, but when it might have made a difference, and all of my opponents were cheerleaders and enablers for Governor Jindal, who are only lately deciding they have some policy differences because they know it's important to create some distance between themselves and Bobby Jindal. But that's something that I've been doing all along, because I had the foresight back when it was hard to know that Bobby Jindal was not leading our state in a good direction.
We invited all 4 gubernatorial candidates. Senator David Vitter could not be with us today because of a scheduling conflict, but we're happy to have Public Service Commissioner Scott Angel, Lieutenant Governor Jay Dardenne, and State Representative John Bell Edwards with us. Let's give them a hand. So let's go ahead and get started. We're going to have each of you open up with introductions. Tell us about yourself, what your goals are, with a 2-minute introduction, and we'll start in alphabetical order with Public Service Commissioner Scott Angel.
Good morning. I want to thank the Press Club for getting us together some 33 days before the election, and I would say I'm excited to be here. I'm excited about the future of Louisiana. I absolutely believe our greatest days are still ahead. We've got some challenges right in front of us, and I believe we meet those challenges head on this fall by electing a governor who has a proven track record of working across all lines, across party lines, gender lines, racial lines, and geographic lines. And one of the things that I've traveled across the state for some 11 and a half months, what I've listened and learned and I've confirmed is that we don't need a governor that claims to know everything. We need a governor that wants to work with everyone, and I absolutely believe I am that person. As a guy from a small town, didn't keep me from thinking I could do big things. I've had an opportunity to serve Louisiana in a variety of positions, always leaving the place better than I found it. I do believe that we need to work on our fiscal house. The number one deal we have to do in this state is get our fiscal house in order, and I think we can do that in a special session, or perhaps a couple of special sessions, where we get to the point of looking at a variety of tax credits and tax giveaways where we perhaps have left the reservation when it comes to tax policy. I think our tax policy is antiquated, it's complicated, and it's outdated, and I think that in a special session we can do some really good things. I believe that in a special session we get started. Past that, I believe that community and workforce development is absolutely very important. While everybody needs that opportunity to go to college, not everybody should go to college, but everybody needs to work. 60% of the new jobs we'll create over the next 10 years require more than a high school diploma, but less than a 4-year degree. We have got to look at that situation and invest in a really big way. Diane and I joined together as a father of 5 kids that has absolutely focused on my family and our state for the last 27 years. As the son of a conservative dad and the son of a God-fearing mother, I absolutely believe that I'm prepared to lead Louisiana. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. I want to thank my colleagues for showing up today. Thank you all very much.
Next is Lieutenant Governor Jay Dardenne.
Thank you. Well, thank you. Thanks for having us today. I have been to more of these forums than anyone in the race, and tied for a close second are Scott and John Bell, and I want to thank them for being here. And let me address just briefly the elephant not in the room, who has chosen not to come, not to answer any questions, not to talk to the voters of Louisiana and give them an opportunity to ask him the questions they want to ask and give him an opportunity to answer those questions, not to confront the issues today. And I think it's a foreshadowing of what may happen if we had another governor who's going to avoid the press and who's not going to be willing to answer questions and talk to people every day. I've made it very clear that I'm going to be the most accessible governor that we've ever had, and I'm going to travel around the state and keep office hours in places around Louisiana, so I'll bring the governor's office to the people instead of the people having to come to Baton Rouge. And the same will hold true in my relations with the press. They'll be like I've always been, open, candid, answering your questions and responding to what's on people's minds. I think that's a very important thing to do. In what we've seen in the past couple of days are the launching of broadsides against us, a couple of us in the race. Senator Vitter seems to be attacking me and Commissioner Angel, and not going after John Bell very much. We know who David Vitter wants in a runoff. He wants John Bell Edwards in a runoff, and he certainly doesn't want me. And there's a good reason for that, because I can beat him in a runoff, and I will beat him in a runoff. You know, we're seeing the same old Washington ways in this election for governor of Louisiana. Attacks that are misleading, false, purposely designed to mislead the public. And the latest television ads, not only by the fund that is supporting Senator Vitter, but his own campaign with attacks that I know we'll get a chance to address during the scope of questionings today, and I'll make certain that we do. But I'm excited about Louisiana. I always have been passionate about the state, and I'm even more passionate about our future and our ability to take advantage of what's on the economic horizon with the kind of leadership that Louisiana needs and Louisiana deserves, and I look forward to being able to provide that leadership. Thanks.
Next, State Representative John Bell Edwards.
Thank you, and the press club. Scott and Jay, thank you as well. I suspect Senator Vitter's still looking for something to attack me on, but he might find something one day. And while he can't be here and he doesn't come to many of these events, he never ever forgets to send his tracker. So Josh, thank you for being here today. Look, I'm excited about this race. I'm excited about the future of Louisiana. We can do great things here if we'll just bring the state together again, if we'll have a governor who will put Louisiana first, a governor who will wake up every day worried about the people of Louisiana, a governor who will wake up in the state of Louisiana. I will do that, but it's going to require honest leadership. Under Bobby Jindal, we haven't even had an honest conversation about where we are or how we got here, and so there's no way forward until we have that honest conversation. I will provide that leadership because I know how to do it. I'm trained to do it. As a West Point graduate, as a U.S. Army infantry officer veteran, as someone who's been in a leadership role in the legislature, I know what's broken. I know how to fix it. I know how to get it done. I will get it done. And it's going to start with the structural deficit, because until we tackle that, we will not have the revenue to invest that we need to invest, whether it's higher education, health care, K through 12, public safety, transportation. We just can't fix any of our problems until we get a grip on this structural deficit, end it, so that we can actually start moving forward with the priorities of the day. That's what I will do as the next governor, working across party lines, regardless of geography, regardless of gender, regardless of race. We're going to pull Louisiana together. And I know that the legislature and local government and the state as a whole will respond to good leadership. It's a little bit foreign to us right now because we haven't had it in the governor's office for a while. Every decision he's made has been about what's in his best interest, not what's in the common interest. That changes on day one when I'm elected. And Jay, don't worry about it. I promise you I'll beat David Vitter. Thank you.
I'll open up with the first question, and again, you have 1 minute to respond. You mentioned the negative attack ads by Senator Vitter. He called Dardenne a liberal. I want you to respond to that. He says that Angel has a lot in common with President Obama, and he didn't mention you yet. So I want you all to react to the ads that are running and underway, and we'll start with the commissioner.
Well, let me first of all draw the comparison to Senator Vitter and President Obama. Both have gone to an Ivy League school. Both of them served in their state legislatures. Both of them served in the United States Senate. Neither ever had any executive level experience at all. And so what Senator Vitter is trying to do is throw a tax to change the conversation. The reality of it all is that when you take a look at David's record, you know, I told somebody yesterday, I'm not running because David's been wrong on fornication. I'm running because David's wrong on education, on medication, on transportation, and on litigation. And I'm not worried about David's attacks. In fact, I think David just made me the candidate I knew I was by attacking. We all know that you don't get attacked unless you ride on somebody's heel. So I want to thank David for doing that. I expect more of it, and I'm looking forward to responding.
I was a little surprised the attack ad came directly from Vitter's campaign and not from his PAC, the Fund for Making Stuff Up. And they've done a good job of making stuff up and repeating stuff. If you look at all the accusations that are made in this ad, they're the same ones that have been made by every one of my opponents for the past decade. The 4 times that I've been elected statewide in this race, the exact same accusations that Dardenne's a liberal. And the voters know that it's not true, it's not accurate. The representations about taxes are wrong. The representations about immigration is just hysterical. He's going to cite one vote I made in the Senate and say that's open the floodgates of illegal aliens flooding into Louisiana. The senator has been there for 15 years and they hadn't done anything to try and address the immigration issue. And the same arguments they made on abortion. I have a 100% record with Right to Life based upon my candidacy for lieutenant governor. The same will be the same in my race for governor. So this is more stuff being made up, and it's the same old retread stuff that we've seen before, which is to be expected from Senator Vitter.
Well, all I'll say is I'm glad it's you and you, but it'll be me soon enough. Look, the fact of the matter is Senator Vitter is the consummate Washington career politician. And that's not much to run on, and so he's going to distract and divide. We've had enough of that. That's not going to work. That's not going to bring the people together. That's not going to solve any of the problems facing the people of Louisiana. And so it also, I think, reveals that Senator Vitter is not nearly as secure in his position in this race as he wants you to believe. Otherwise, he wouldn't be doing what he's doing. And I would call upon him to show up, to be engaged. Think about it. The last time we elected an Ivy League educated member of Congress, Rhodes Scholar, governor who refused to participate in debates, the people of Louisiana didn't get to know much about him. Now they know, and he's at 27% approval. Let's not make that mistake again.
As you know, higher education institutions have taken a major hit over the last few years, which has resulted in layoffs and reduction in programs. What would you do if elected governor to protect our higher institutions in our state?
Same order. Sometimes going in alphabetical order does have its disadvantages. But having said that, for those of you who hadn't made up your mind, I encourage you to vote alphabetically this fall. It has worked pretty good for me. So I would tell you about higher education. We need to invest in higher education, and it's not only our four-year universities, it's our community and technical colleges. As I said earlier, 60% of the jobs it will create over the next 10 years require more than a high school diploma, but less than a four-year degree. The way we change Louisiana is certainly being invested in that higher education and putting our community and technical colleges on steroids and muscling them up in a variety of ways. But what we've done is we got drunk on giving your money away through a variety of tax credits. We have no program in Louisiana to review tax credits. We need to do something that is similar to what Buddy Roma did in '87 when he created the Revenue Estimating Conference, the REC. It is time for us to create the ERC, the Exemption Review Conference, so that we can put every dedication through a process, and I'm sure every exemption through a process to make certain that what we are doing is making sense. The reality is that we have to do a much better job of doing a return on investment analysis of what we gave away, because when we give it away, we've cut higher education and we've asked our healthcare providers to pay more.
I've evidenced my passion for higher education at every level in which I've served. In the state senate for 15 years on the education committee, brought higher ed to the point where we finally funded higher education at the full formula level, which had never happened before. I authored the bill that created the community and technical college system. I understood then and I understand now the need to prepare Louisianians for the jobs that are being created for Louisiana.